All right, so why don't we do some quick introductions of ourselves?
Sure.
Why don't you begin?
Okay. Barrett Arman, the Vice Chair of the WestJet Pilots Union, and I'm here.
Alia Hussein, President of Local 8125. I have the privilege of representing both WestJet and WestJet Encore flight attendants. And Barrett, today I wanted to give you this from our local to you because tomorrow is a bit of a big day for us and you're in attendance.
Thank you very much for the invite, and I really appreciate it. I'll put this on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Excited about tomorrow.
Yeah, super excited about tomorrow. So what's going on tomorrow, you guys might ask? Tomorrow we have our first ever informational picket for WestJet cabin personnel at campus. It starts tomorrow morning at 8. We're going to meet here. 9 o'clock we'll have a couple of speeches, then we're going to hop on some buses and head over to the WestJet's campus where we're going to have a silent informational picket.
Excellent. And looking at this room that we see here full of chairs, they'll be full tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's an exciting day.
Yeah, we have incredible attendance planned for tomorrow, and it's super humbling because this is the first time in WestJet flight attendant history that we've actually taken a strike vote, which actually closes on Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Very good. Now, earlier today I made my way to Calgary. You gave me a call and we discussed some new developments.
Yeah, we did. It's funny because most people think that bargaining is about two parties, the company and the union, and we keep it in-house, but unfortunately we have bigger issues here in Canada as a result of, I'd say, the last 10 years of history of our government adding themselves to the equation and intervening with the unions and literally workers' right to bargain by invoking Section 107.
Yeah, and I heard about that today in 107, and I think the government has absolutely no place in labor rights. Tomorrow everybody stands in this room united. The pilots are united with your group. And I know one thing historically, because I come from many years of leadership in unions and defending labor rights. And I know our pilots will do the same thing, and they're uniting behind you throughout this entire process. I think one of the biggest issues that we have to look at is the government is trying to meddle and manipulate with labor rights. And every time that there is advancement, it is because the unionist workers stand united in solidarity. They fight for every inch of gains that they make. And there are always companies who come in and try and take more from you, more from the thousands of people that are going to be here tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And the only way that you can make them pay, you know, they know, is to action their right to strike. I'm excited for you and your group. I really am.
Thank you. We really appreciate the support. To begin with, I want to say sincerely a genuine thank you on behalf of all WestJet cabin crew for the support that we're receiving from our pilots. It's overwhelming. We're two groups that share the same office space, and we both understand the problems that we face from our operations between whether it's fatigue, whether it's long exhausting pairings, irregular operations. We kind of know how how our environment is, and we know what kind of improvements we need to achieve, and we also are very familiar with WestJet. And it's just really unfortunate to think that this morning CUPE National President Mark Hancock sent off an email to both Patty, the Minister of Jobs and Family, and Mark Carney to say that you need to stay out of this dispute because there's actually a threat that they may involve themselves in this dispute. And I'm super hopeful that WestJet has not been or will not be relying on Section 107 of the code, and that they plan to meaningfully bargain with their flight attendants, which also happen to be the longest touch point with our guests, the people who pay our mortgages, as well as the largest group within the organization.
I think this company needs to sit down at the table and get serious.
Oh, Barrett, I have to agree with you. And if they don't, you know, really in the end, all it does is harms our relationship with them. And the most important thing here is the business, like the labor relationship we have with each other and how there's a solution here. You know, WestJet has always been known for the business taking care of the people, meaning its employees, and the employees taking care of our guests, and ultimately the guests paying back into the business. And this was our business philosophy that we used to create this incredibly successful business that we know today as WestJet. And I'm really hopeful that WestJet goes back to those what they call traditional Western values as shared earlier from our WestJet executive this year, that they'd like to return to that. I really hope they do, because it's in those, rooted in those principles is values, and those values took care of the very employees who ultimately ended up taking care of our guests. We've in my view, we've kind of lost sight of who we are, and we really need to return to that so we can get back to the business of doing what's most important to us, and that's getting people from point A to B and really focusing on running an airline, not being in these labor disputes.
I would agree. You know, companies need to look after their employees and respect them, pay them well. They work harder for the company. Then the company profits and everybody's happy. But this continual beatdown of employee groups and not paying fairly, not negotiating continues. And it continues across the industry. They lobby the government to take away our rights. I'm sick of seeing it. I know you're sick of seeing it.
Absolutely.
And I know over the next coming weeks, you'll probably be reaching out to all of the unions to come together. If the government actions anything on 107, I expect that all the unions will stand.
You know, and that's, I think, the most important message today is that this isn't about WestJet flight attendants losing their right to strike or how this affected Air Canada flight attendants when they last summer lost their right to strike. What this is about is any worker in Canada, in any industry. This is a threat to everyone's rights, and we all need a wake-up call, and this is, again, yet another wake-up call where we have to say enough is enough. You have to, as a government, stop interfering in workers' right to strike and stop siding with big business. Let them sort their problems out at the table.
Agreed. So I guess this is when we ask all the other unions to stand.
Yep, right. And that's like what we're doing. We're going to ask every union in Canada to ensure that should anything become of this, that we all come together and we send a very, very bold and strong message to our government that this is not okay. Thanks again, Barrett, for such a great conversation.
Thanks again, Ali. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Get in here.
Let's do it.
All right, see you on the line.
We'll see you there.